Hi everyone, this is Diane and I'm here to show you my design team project for the Old Design Shop. I already tried to do this once and then my phone rang, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. It is made out of a vintage record book and it is quite wide. The pages that I cut for the signature covers are 14 inches in length, so this is at least 7.5 inches wide, and then 8.5 inches or so tall. So it's a pretty good sized book. It has 3 signatures. It's closed with this book band, stretchy black gingham book band. It has a vintage label on the front. I put some upholstery fabric on the spine, which of course I made a new spine about 2 inches wide, and it's made with chipboard, and it's got Tyvek to reinforce it. Tyvek, people ask me about that, is a plastic paper that is made into envelopes and is used in construction and other things. Usually I find it in envelopes and then I cut the envelopes up. So this is a fuzzy trim that came from Eve in Switzerland. Thank you, Eve. This looks beautiful on there. And then this vintage gimp upholstery gimp trim. The inside cover is just beautiful the way it is, so I just added this label. There's this brown leathery looking trim on the top and the bottom, which I love. So here is the front signature, the first signature with my stitched together paper. This is what I cut into a 14-inch length, and it's got some die cut numbers. I scattered them all throughout the book. So I used quite a few sets from the Old Design Shop, and I will point them out to you. This is the first from the first set, called English Documents, I think it's called, and it's just a lot of vintage ephemera pieces, and I printed them all on coffee dyed paper, and I love the way they look. So they make really awesome ephemera pieces tucked in places, and you'll see them all throughout the book. I used most of the pieces in this book. Vintage library pocket that I collaged on and added a couple library cards. This is a page from this actual book with the green tint. It was supposed to be an eye saver, they called it. This is another of Old Design Shop sets, and it's the penmanship pages. Really cool. And you can write on there. And I added some seam binding. And then on the back is another set of Old Design Shop papers, and it is shabby papers. So you can print this just to use as pages in your books, or to color the backs of your pages. And it has different colors and different textures on it, so I'll point them out as we go. This just has some stickers that someone sent to me. There's a copy dyed scrapbook paper and a ledger scrapbook paper there. Another Old Design Shop set is called Office Papers, and it does have images, like digitally printed images of office furniture and typewriter and stuff like that. This one just says memo. There might be a picture on the back on the other side, but I don't remember. There's a tab that I made, and I put an eyelet there, and bulb pin and charm. It's a little collage up there. Here's one of the office papers too, with a desk still life, I guess, calendar, ink bottle, and a pen. One of the shabby papers here. This is an envelope that I made in a previous video, and I collaged on it. That's a vintage label right there. This is one of her digital ephemera pieces, and this is a real vintage piece, petty cash voucher. These office pages were really fun to use. There's a definition for journal up there, stamped up there. This is a sack that someone gave to me. I don't remember who, but I liked this craft sack. It had this already printed on it, and I added this digital photograph with a little piece of scrapbook paper behind it, a little collaging. One of the digital ephemera pieces, and a real vintage label from Meredith Bottling Works. From Towanda, Pennsylvania, I found this at a flea market, the whole pad. was really cool. So I think this goes behind and this goes inside. And I did back this. This is brittle, so I backed it with coffee dyed paper. I'll put that in later. There's the other side of that memo paper. This is a tag that I had made quite a long time ago. It was a large tag that was white and it was folded over like this. So I just glued on some Tim Holtz paper, which is sturdy paper, so it made this quite sturdy. There's ledger to write on here, and there's a pocket here with some things tucked in. And I just folded it over the top and paper clipped it. There's another penmanship sheet. This is a large pocket that I made out of manila file folder, and I stamped on it. This is a stamp, this man, these numbers, and then all of the background stamped in a lighter shade. I love the way that pocket turned out. And then this is a printable label from Roxy Creations. This is a envelope with a long flap. I used to have these in my shop. I don't anymore. When I run out of my own stash, then I might buy some more and put some in my shop. This is a piece from that 1910 order book that I just showed in a different video that I made a journal out of. And I just Mod Podged it to this flap and put this die cut, this stamped image, some more die images there, and then just a coffee dyed tag tucked in. I left the string hanging out so you can pull the tag out. Little collage there. This was such a fun journal to make. I love this little stamp of the typewriter eraser. This is a digital label. Second signature. This is a large library pocket. I had shown this previously when I was constructing this book, and I had this tag tucked in. It just had the word note and then this white or this lined stamp on there. And I told you I was going to vintage it up, so I did. There's some collage here, including from that 1910 order book. This is from my flip file index cards. I have some sets of these in my shop. These cards come out. And this is ephemera from Old Design Shop. These are some stickers that I added on here. Well, this was a sticker, and this is something I just glued on. This is one of the pages from the penmanship pages kit. It's like their cover sheet or title sheet. There's a tab with an eyelet and a flower charm. Another negative from my numbers. This is vintage right here. The office papers with a hand writing on it. And a digital envelope. Somebody sent this to me. It was stamped and then stitched to that paper. And then I had this, I think that's from a printable. I've had it in my stash for a long time. There's another of the office papers. Here we have a bunch of ephemera paper clipped on. So this is from the digital kit, and so is this, and this is genuine. I love having these digital ephemera pieces to add to the book and still be able to use some vintage pieces, but not use them all up in one book. There's a tag that I decorated. This is a large file box tabbed card. That was a lot of words. Very sturdy blue. This is one of the ephemera digital pieces, and then it's collaged behind it. This is a stamped image. This is from old computer paper. Do I dare say vintage computer paper? And another larger printable from that English documents kit. That is so cool looking. And I love how crinkly it is, printed on coffee dyed paper. This is a vintage label up here. This one's a printable. I don't remember. I think this came with her kit, but maybe not. Sorry, I don't remember. And there's another library pocket with just some bits and pieces added to it, a couple of cards. This is from her digital. This came off of a envelope that I got in the mail, and I think it came on the little collage book that I purchased from Marguerite Miller. She has published a little book featuring her collages with postage stamps on them. And I bought the little book from her, and I think this came on the envelope. She loves postal images, so I think that's a stamp she has. So I cut it out and glued it on there. Here's a desk from the Old Design Shop's office papers, and then there's a tab with a little heart charm. This one has the index card with a perpetual calendar, and then this little tag that I added on with a brad. This envelope somebody sent to me. It's all copy dyed, and I was going to glue it together, but this part doesn't really, it wouldn't attach to anything. So anyway, I just left it open, and it came with these airmail papers in it too, and it's all copy dyed, and it's really cool looking. So I just left it like that and added this sticker that looks like a wax seal. I love the way this pocket turned out. It's one of the negatives from my numbers, and this is file folder that I sprayed with blue and green distress inks. I don't remember the exact colors. And then I just used my distressing tool and added a little vintage photo instead of spraying it on, because to add a little bit of brown, spraying it on overwhelmed it. So I just used my distress tool and rubbed some ink on it. This is from the Old Design Shop. And this is a vintage postcard from Rochester, New York. Swan Boat, Seneca Park, Rochester, New York. And there's writing on it. 1908. And there's another of her papers. A little tag that I used Tim Holtz rub-ons to decorate. This is some of the shabby paper, and it comes in different colors. I just wanted to point that out to you. And here we have another pocket made with file folder and sprayed with distress spray and stamped. 2 pieces of ephemera from English documents, and then a guest check that I had decorated previously. And on the back, I added one of the wallpaper envelopes that Cindy Matthews sent me. She has these in her shop called Arrowdale Studios. And I just I can get it out. There. It's just a piece of craft cardstock with graph paper glued to it. So there we have it. Green ledger, black ledger, and flashcard journal. These will all be in my shop by the time you see this video. I said in my previous video that I have trouble with reserving, or not reserving, but scheduling them, because it just means that I have to be home at a certain time to get, because I don't know how to publish things when I'm out and about, and I don't want to have to worry about it when I'm out and about anyway. So anyway, I've decided to just go back to showing them to you and telling you they're already in my shop and see how that goes. But I'm still not taking reservations or custom orders. So there you go. These will be in my shop, and I hope you come on over and take a look. And I will be back with you again next week. Bye-bye.